I'm not going to go through all this outline on video because you've already seen that on our other video. So what I'm going to do is just give you an idea of how it's going to look. This is a 7-round, or a 5-round, I should say, sorry, outliner. I'm just using straight black ink. And once I get this piece outlined, then we'll get into the black shading with the mags, and we'll show you how all that goes. So, if you remember in the other videos, I start at the bottom and just work my way up with the outline, and that's just what I'm doing here. Some of the lines on this drawing are thicker black and they're heavier, but I'm just going to leave them as lighter lines now, and then we'll go back with, when we start doing the shading, we'll darken up and thicken up some lines on here the way we want them. Now we're done with the outline, and this is the picture that we're going to be doing here. And when I was talking about that negative space before, you can see where there's some like water or whatever coming out of the mouth of this demon. So those are where I left all the blank spots in here. He's got like an eyeball up here that's going to shoot out. There's another tattoo lower on this arm here, and we're going to combine all this together. But what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do all the black shading in here with a mag shader. We'll show you how that's done. And some of the solid color fill, the black in the mouth and stuff. So if you watch the video now, you're going to see how that works. What we're going to do now is we're going to start with the black shading on here. And I'm using a 7 mag shader. And you're going to see a little bit different techniques on. I showed you on the other videos, you saw most of the work we did was with round shaders. This one we're going to use this mag shader. And you'll see the ink's going to go in, it goes in much quicker and darker. When you're using these mag shaders, you can work flat with them, or you can work a little bit of angle. I can get up in between these teeth in here just by turning this thing and working it on a little bit of an angle. And you're still using that same basic rotation like you did with the round shaders. You know, you're going to keep it turning. But when we get to the shading part, you can see you can do a little bit different stuff with these mag shaders. And you can see how solid they fill in quick. The black goes in real nice. You can brush shade out with some of this. I'm using this right now. I'm using just straight black ink here. I'm not thinning it down at all. This is just a straight solid black ink. You can see how nice and dark that goes in. You gotta remember we're gonna leave this open right in here because that's where some of that, I'm just gonna put a little bit of shade lines in here because there's some water that's gonna be shooting out on this piece here on this side. So with the round shaders, you're holding this machine a little more straight and going like this. With the flat shaders, you tend to run your hand this way and coming around a little bit more with it. So we're going to keep putting in all this black in here first. Once you start using these mag shaders, you're going to find it's going to take a little bit different if you've been using the rounds to get used to the angles that how you can use it, because you can cut a pretty thin line with this by just running the machine off to the edge a little bit more and using the edge of the needles rather than the whole needle flat. And that's the reason a lot of guys don't even use round shaders anymore. They go strictly with the mags, because once you get used to using them, you can do just about anything you can do with a round shader with it. And it puts the ink in so much faster. It'll save you a lot of time and and the looks you can't do with a round shader. Some of the technique you can do with a flat. And you can use straight flat shaders. Mag shaders seem to be the big thing right now, and that's what everybody's using. A piece this size, I probably wouldn't use anything more than this 7. You know, you can go up to 14s and whatever. But a 7 on this piece is plenty big to use. And you can see we got all that black just about filled in already. It fills in quite rapidly with this. I'm gonna switch up. I'm gonna go off the black, and I'm gonna do a little bit of shading with it now, and I'm gonna use a little bit of diluted black ink, and I'll show you the different looks that you can kind of get with this. We'll shade out some of this up in here. What you'll do with this, just by going back and forth over it like that, it looks like there's not much ink going in at all, but when you wipe it off, you'll start getting the nice soft gray tones with it. The whole thing with these, you don't want to have lines in your shading. You don't want to see the line of the needle. You've seen some of those old tattoos that have, you can see almost where every needle went into the skin and left little dots. And that's what you don't want to have. So if you want to shade this out round like that, you could take this, and this is really thin. It looks like it's black on the video, I'm sure, but when you wipe it off, you'll see it's got a nice thin look to it. And you can start to see how it starts to form from dark to a lighter gray shade. You got to remember on these videos, when you're watching this, some of this stuff will look a little dark because there's a little bit more blood mixed in with the ink than there is